Hey everyone, it's great to see you all again. Do you ever feel something's just off about your edits? Maybe the colors look weird, the image lacks depth, or things just don't feel cohesive. Well, you're definitely not alone. These are common struggles that are usually a result of a few simple Lightroom editing mistakes. Well, in today's video, I'm going to go through 10 Lightroom editing mistakes that I have certainly made and maybe you're making on your photos, and some ways that you can avoid them. Whether you're just starting out or want to refine your Lightroom editing workflow, make sure to stick around where I'll show you how to save time, improve your workflow, and create images that pop. I hope you all enjoy. My name is Jalen Oban. I'm a landscape photographer and educator based in the Pacific Northwest. I create weekly videos giving you photo tips or taking you with me on location to give you a behind-the-scenes look at what I do. If you enjoy the content, I would really appreciate it if you gave it a like and subscribe. The first mistake, and possibly the biggest one, is not getting it right in camera. When you're on location, you want to make sure that you're taking a photo that has a good foundation for what you're going to edit. One of the biggest mistakes is relying on Lightroom too much to fix it rather than trying to get it as close to perfect as possible in camera. Lightroom is powerful, but it can't create miracles. When on location, it's really tempting to think, I'll fix it later in post, but this can result in images that can't be fixed in that post-processing stage. On location, if you blow out your whites or crush your blacks, there's nothing you're able to do in Lightroom to fix it. Focus on capturing a well-composed, properly exposed shot. Adjust your settings like ISO, aperture, and shutter speed in the field, and pay attention to the white balance. The better your starting image, the more flexibility you'll have when post-processing. Mistake number 2 is forgetting the basics. When you're new to Lightroom, it can be a bit daunting, and it might be easy to just hop in and start adjusting sliders and effects. Before jumping into those advanced edits, make sure you get the basics down. Correct exposure and white balance are incredibly important. These fundamental edits help you set the tone of the image and make it easier to refine from there. Think of it like building a house. If the foundation isn't solid, the entire house can't be built and will fall apart. Mistake number 3 is a bit more advanced and builds on the last mistake we talked about, but that is only adjusting global sliders. Using only global adjustments, changes that affect your entire image, can really limit your editing potential. Lightroom has amazing tools like the radio filter, graduated filter, and adjustment brush, which lets you edit specific parts of a photo. For example, if you have a bright sky and a dark foreground, you can use the linear gradient to brighten up the foreground without affecting the sky. Selective edits let you draw the viewer's eye to key parts of the image and add depth. If you want to learn more about how to use masks to lead the viewer's eye and create nice lighting in your photo, make sure to check out last week's video. Mistakes number 4 and 5 kind of go hand in hand, and I'm definitely guilty of both. Number 4 is under-editing your photo. Sometimes beginner photographers or editors play it safe, and when doing that, their images come out looking flat and undesired. If you're under editing, you may not be bringing out the full potential of your image. Don't be afraid to push those sliders a little bit further. If the colors need more vibrance or the contrast feels low, don't hesitate to adjust it. Under edited images can look dull, so make sure you add some punch to those effects. However, don't go overboard. And that leads me to mistake number 5, and that is over editing your image. This is when you take the sliders a bit too far, leading to unnatural colors, excessive contrast, and overly sharpened details. Over-edited photos can look harsh and amateurish. Always zoom out and look at the entire image to make sure the adjustments are cohesive. Less is often more, and subtlety can make your image look more professional and polished. Now, the 6th mistake, when fixed, can save you a ton of time, and that is not having a set editing workflow. When you're new or just not used to Lightroom or any other editing software, it's easy to get lost and jump around from tool to tool with no clear order. But not having an editing workflow can lead to missed steps and inconsistent edits. One way that I make it super easy for me in Lightroom is to move around the editing modules so that I can start from the top and make my way down to the bottom in one seamless workflow. My usual workflow starts with cropping and straightening, moves to the basic adjustments, working with colors, and then maybe local adjustments. Following a consistent process not only saves you time, but also ensures a thorough, balanced edit. Now, mistake number 7 is one that I didn't realize made such a big change, and that is ignoring your editing conditions. Editing in poor conditions like a super bright room, a super dark room, or with your screen brightness too bright or too dark can throw off your perception of the image. Your editing space should have neutral, consistent light to ensure your edits look good across all devices. And consider investing in a monitor calibrator if you want super accurate colors. A well-lit and controlled environment makes a huge difference in your editing results. When editing in poor conditions, you can always bring up a reference photo to see how your edits compare to a photo that you really like. Now, mistake number 8 kind of coincides with mistake number 7, and that is not changing the background of your editing software. Depending on how you're going to display your image, the editing background in Lightroom may not seem like a big thing, but it can actually change how you see contrast and color in your image when editing. By default, Lightroom's background is a medium gray, but you can change it to white or black. A darker background can make a photo feel brighter or more vibrant, while a white background helps with seeing contrast. Right-click around the photo and experiment with different background colors to see what works best for each edit. Now, mistake number 9 should be fixed by getting into the habit of doing this every time you start editing a photo, and that is neglecting lens corrections. Lens corrections might sound technical, but it's actually super important and really simple. Many lenses cause distortions, vignetting, and chromatic aberrations, especially at wide angles. Lightroom has a lens correction tool that automatically fixes these issues with one click. By enabling lens corrections, you make sure that your image appears as intended without wanted distortions. It's a small adjustment, but can improve clarity and professionalism with each of your shots. And finally, mistake number 10. This is one that I'm definitely guilty of, especially when you're in that photo editing mindset, and that is not taking a break and stepping away. When you're really focused on an edit, it's easy to lose perspective and fall into a tunnel vision. Taking a short break allows your mind to get away from your image for a while, and when you come back, you might actually see things that you thought were fine before, but now needs adjustment. Maybe you cranked up the saturation and vibrance too much and need to dial it back a little bit. Take a few minutes, maybe 15, 30 minutes, or even overnight, and come back to your image and you'll be really surprised how your perspective changed in that amount of time. So those are the 10 Lightroom mistakes that I see a lot of beginner photographers making. And if you can fix them and avoid them, you'll improve your workflow and your skills super quickly. So I hope you all learned something from this week's video. If you didn't already know, I started a Discord server for the entire community to come together, share photos, and give feedback. And then at the end of every month, I'll be selecting one of your photos as a monthly contest winner. Other than that, if you could subscribe to my weekly newsletter for weekly updates, and then for blog, and other video updates, if you could like and follow my Facebook page. Other than that, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.